going up, guys? It's Genie the Great, and I'm back for another Write With Me Wednesday. So this is the first week I'm going to try out the whole documenting my weekly writing and compiling it into one video thing. So today is Friday, and it's first day I'm writing since the last Write With Me Wednesday that I posted on Wednesday, obviously. So Thursday, I didn't do any writing, didn't do anything other than go to work. And it was fucking amazing. Like, it was so refreshing to just not do anything except for just go to work. But today I'm going to write a little story because I used to have this weekly goal to write and submit one story every single week. And I did that until I went to Colorado, and then I didn't do that week. And I haven't done it since I came back. So I want to start that again and submit a story to a magazine every single week. Right now I'm going to start writing on that one. But throughout the week, I'll write on other stuff. I'll work on a chapter of the novel. I still have to finish the first chapter of the second draft, so you'll see that later as well. Probably in the next clip or the day after that. And yeah, so that's what we're getting into for this video. We'll see how much writing I get done. It's going to be interesting doing editing because it's going to be a lot of footage because, I don't know, I'm going to write a lot. I have to write a lot to meet these goals, and if I film all of it, then it's definitely going to be a lot of footage to get through, but it also will push me to be more creative with the filming and editing, which I enjoy. So I really, really want to write a weird story. The other day, I was thinking of this story idea of the character falls asleep in a hammock in the middle of the woods, and this creature, this mythological creature, wakes the character up and takes the character somewhere, but the character doesn't question it, like it seems normal, which is just another weird aspect to the story. So, but that's as far as I thought out, and then I just didn't end up writing it because I ran out of time. I was just thinking for so long that I didn't have time to write. But last night, I had this fucking weird dream, and I think that's what I want to write my story about. I had this dream, like, I've never done psychedelics or acid, but I woke up and my first thought was, this has to be what a bad acid trip is like. Like, it was the weirdest fucking dream, and it was absolutely terrifying. Oh, man. So, I guess I'll tell you guys a little bit about it before I start writing, and then in between writing, I'll talk to you guys and update you guys about the writing. But, basically, I had this dream where I was hanging out with this girl, and it was so real because the girl in my dream, her and I had actually hung out right before I went to sleep, and then she spent the night. So, it was just really realistic. Like, it seemed real. It seemed like everything that we had done that day, it just seemed just like that, only it was a dream. And we're hanging out, and I keep doing things, and she keeps saying stuff like, oh, well, you can't do that because this is the outcome of that. Like, she knew the outcome of my actions before I took them. And the reason she knew these outcomes was because she was aware that she was living in another reality, in another dimension, I should say. So she was aware of existing in two separate dimensions. And in the other dimension, I had been taking all these same actions, and she saw the outcomes of them. So then when she was in the dimension that I was in, that I was aware of, she was telling me the outcomes because she had already seen it. And I know that sounds really fucked up and just like, I don't know if that's confusing or not, but basically she was aware that she was existing in multiple dimensions, and then she, like, because of that, she was able to tell me, like, the results of my actions before I took them, which led me to a feeling that I had no free will because every action that I wanted to take, I had already taken it. So it's like I wasn't even choosing my own actions. And another angle to this was that she kept telling me the reality or the dimension that she was in, and it was contradicting the one that I was in. So let's say I pick up this mug. Well, in the dimension that I was aware that I was existing, I would pick it up and drink it. But she would tell me, no, you pick that up and you drop it, and then I would drop it and I would drink it. So these two impossible things that couldn't happen at one time were happening at one time. And it was just one thing like that after another, because these dimensions were overlapping and they were conflicting, and so two things that could not happen at the same time were happening at the same time over and over. And then that made time warp because time was being contradicted. So then time was not real and it was being warped, and things were going back in the past and in the future and in the present all at the same time. And it was just really weird. And it would, like I said, even though this sounds really unrealistic, it felt really, really realistic. And then, so it was just like not being able to control, like not being able to choose my own actions because they were already being chosen. And then just contradicting things happening at the same time. And reality just fucking melted away. Like, reality just got obliterated. And as that was dawning on me, it was just like this crushing feeling in my dream, and then I woke up, and in real life I was in bed next to the girl, and I was drenched in sweat. Like, I was just like fucking terrified because in my mind reality had just been ripped apart. And this sounds so fucked up, but reality, like, I was, of course, when you wake up from a nightmare, you're still like half asleep, you're not thinking clearly. And so in my mind, the immediate, like I said, the first one thing I thought was like, this must be what acid, like a bad acid trip is like. But my immediate first thought, I kid you not, as soon as I woke up, I'm like, and then in my mind I'm like, this is why we can't be aware of existing in separate dimensions, because they overlap and conflict and reality is torn apart. And like, that was my first thought coming out of this fucking nightmare, and that itself was like startling. And then I was like, whoa, that was so real, and it just melted reality away. That must be what a bad acid trip is like. I have no clue what acid is like, so that could be completely wrong. I have no fucking clue. I was tired, I was exhausted, and I just woke up from this terrifying experience. But that's what I'm gonna write about, so I'm gonna get to writing. I sound like a fucking lunatic, but I like experimenting with my writing, and this is just awesome material to work with. So I'm gonna get to typing this out, and I'll get back to you in a second. Coffee break. This tastes so good. I don't know why, I'm like completely exhausted right now. I stayed up fairly late, but I did get a good amount of sleep too. Except for the nightmare. But coffee is so good. And even though I'm like really tired and I think it's just left over from this week. I had an insane week at work and an insane week in my life, just crazy busy, like good but busy. And it just feels so good to have that over with. It's just like, fuck. I've been recording videos all day and it feels so amazing. And even just the exhaustion in my body right now, I also feel the relief of not having a busy schedule at the moment. So it's almost like the tiredness is just like a really good body high because it's mixing with that relief, and it's just like, feels like a blanket that's cuddling me. But it's like being swaddled. But yeah, so I don't know, it's just like a good body high, but without any high, I guess. So I'm typing this out, and I want this to be a short story, so I'm trying to get to the point, but I also want to not start. There's this thing in writing where you kind of like start in the middle of things, so it's a common mistake to build up your story too much that you've spent most of the time getting to the story, so when you get to the main thing, you just end it really quickly because you're like running out of either book space or paper, or like, I don't know, like you're running out of pages or you're running out of time. So then it's just, you have this built up, this like build up that's this big, and then the story and the ending is this big, and it's just like, because you need to start, and it's also kind of boring to wait that long for the story to build up. So you're supposed to start in the middle of things, where it's just like, you start in the exciting part, so then it gets more and more exciting, you have your climax and then your resolution. And I tend to, I don't know, I like to start in the middle of something that's exciting that at least catches the reader's attention. But at the same time, I feel like some things do need a little bit of a build-up. So if I began this story right in the middle of like this freaking reality melting, time warping, dimension skipping plot, then it would be way too confusing for the reader. So I'm going to build up a little bit so that it's just somewhat confusing, because I do want it to be confusing, but I want to give a sense of normalcy right now, because it's gonna get so abnormal that I want the reader to know they're in a normal world and then they're being thrown into something crazy. Not that the whole story itself is just crazy, because I want that rise of going from normal to just completely insane. So I'm gonna start with a build up. Alright guys, so I just typed up that story. It actually took way longer than I thought. It took about 2 hours. But I decided actually to not build it up because I was writing it like a fiction story and I was building up and I had these characters, and then I just didn't like the way it was coming out, so I scrapped it and just started writing really weird. So now it's really like it's a flash fiction, just really short story thrown right into the weird shit. But I like it. And tomorrow I'm going to start writing I'm going to continue writing on the chapter that I started before. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a second for that.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world.
So it's actually Tuesday already. I didn't get to write any yesterday because I worked until 11 and I didn't get home until a little before midnight, and then I had to wake up this morning at 6 to go to work. So I definitely wanted that sleep. So I didn't get to write yesterday, and I wanted this chapter done by Sunday, but I'm a little late. I'm trying to get back to just working every day and writing every day and making videos every day. But I'm going to get there, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm just a little bit late, but I have about one more page on this chapter, and then I'll be done. So that's where I'm at right now, just typing this up, and I think I can finish this, like, pretty quickly. I just really need, like, one more page just to close this chapter out, and then I'll start on the second chapter. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to try to get this to where I can submit on Sunday and end the video on Sunday, and start the new Write With Me Wednesday every week. But I've kind of just jumbled up a little bit right now. But I'm going to end this video today when I end this chapter, and then start the new one tomorrow and go until Sunday. So now that I've committed to that on camera, I actually have to do it. So I'm going to start typing and finish this out.
They're really saying I love you. What a wonderful world.
Alright, so I finally finished that chapter and it feels really good. It's also like a really emotional part in the story, so I'm trying, like, I don't know if it's weird for authors to like cry at their own story if they write something sad, but when I wrote the first draft of this story, there was definitely like one or two parts where I was like wiping away a tear. But I'm really happy to get this first chapter out of the way. That's definitely the hardest, and from here it's just continuing with the process of writing a chapter every week. And when I do it this way, it really does feel like just writing another story a week and just making it kind of a longer one. But in like 14 weeks I'm gonna have the second draft of my novel, and then I'll have that edited, and then I'll maybe write another draft and have that edited, and eventually I'm gonna have a novel. And I hope I remember the feeling I have right now, looking back, and just remember putting in as much work as I could. That's what I want to remember. So that takes me now putting in as much work as I can, so that later on I can say that, and it feels good. But I'm going to call it here, and I'm going to end the video here and have it posted for tomorrow. But thank you for watching, and yeah, I'm really enjoying like the videos and the novel and writing all these different things and the different goals I have, and I think this is a good flow. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and stay happy. See ya.